Mr. Lee.
I wanted to ask you two things that came up at the Security Council stakeout just now. One has to do with on South Sudan.
Do you have electricity?
No,
Oh, sorry.
none, and no action on that either.
Okay.
All right.
Just checking.
Okay, good. A reference was made in the press elements of the Security Council to these workshops to be held by EGAD in Addis.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is that the DSG has been having meetings with DPA and others about the UN trying to have some role in these workshops. Are you aware of any UN role, both in these workshops on security issues and in sort of monitoring
Well, I know
ceasefire
that
violations?
the workshops are part of EGAD's effort to set up the mechanism to monitor the ceasefire in UNMISS. I know they had been scheduled to start. They've been postponed or delayed for some logistical reasons. We're obviously following the situation closely. I can find out if we are actually represented there.
And the other one has to do with the Syria Chemical Weapons Accountability Mechanism, JIM. It seems like the issue that's arisen is this desire to have voluntary contributions be toward some of the staff. And I guess what steps is the Secretary considering taking to ensure that voluntary contributions, as just alleged at the stakeout, don't lead to a lack of impartiality in
You know, I
operations?
will await for the Council to return to us their decision on the framework. So I'm not going to get into it now. There are a lot of UN operations in general, obviously not relating to this. There are a lot of UN operations that work on assessed contributions, others on voluntary contributions. They're just different mechanisms. So let's wait to see what the councils decide.
And I may have missed it in coming in here, but there's the government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo has banned the screening of a film about Dr. Mukwege of the Panzi Hospital called The Man Who Mends Women, and it's viewed as a basically outright censorship or an attempt to sweep under the carpet the sexual violence that the Panzi Clinic tries to help women with. What's the comment of, I've been sort of, I don't think, MONUSCO, have they said anything? Does the Secretary General
I don't think
have
they
any
have.
view on this?
Obviously, you know, Dr. Mukwege is a good, is an amazing humanitarian, has done tremendous work, been recognized internationally and by the UN, and we would hope that his message is heard clearly, both nationally and internationally.
And also on the topic of sexual violence, Prince Zeid had his press conference in Bangui, and it seemed like the two paragraphs, at least in his opening statement, that were directed at the topic, seemed very much focused on member states not having agreed to proposals he was going to name in the Q&A from the Secretary. It seemed to be less kind of self-reflective of things that DPKO could do. Does the Secretary General share the view that the reason that things have become this way is because member states have in the past rejected some proposals that were made by the Secretary?
You know, I think in his comments, public comments to the press, Secretary General laid clear the responsibility of member states in this regard. Mr. Lee.
Sure. I've been meaning to just follow up on this. The letter that was written to the Secretary General by unpaid UN interns in New York and Geneva seems like it was responded to by by USG Takasu, and it wasn't. It's not clear. I guess I wanted to ask you: is the Secretariat saying that it's an administrative instruction some time back that precludes them from paying interns from the developing world so that the pool could become more diverse? Or are they really saying that the GA has definitively made it impossible? And is there any consideration
I think, you know,
asking the GA to address the issue?
It's a valid question. I haven't seen the letter. I need to take a look at it. Nobody's shared it with me. I don't know why. Nobody tells me anything here. You know, I think on the issue of interns, it is also, I think it's also important to remember that, you know, the UN has a global presence, and not in every country in the world, but almost every country in the world. And we do take interns locally. So I think there's also obviously there's a greater mass of interns at our headquarters station, but we do take interns, most UN offices take interns in different places, which doesn't include the need to travel. But let me look in the letter, and I'll get back to you.
Can we get data on that?
I will see what I can. Probably not, because I don't think it exists.